How are you all? Hope all of you are fit and fine at home and taking good care of yourself, right? So now let's start with our social science class. So students, what we will do today? We will discuss any topic or and what will be the topic? So students, today we will not discuss about any different topic. We will take history and we will take chapter 1 of history, which we have already studied in earlier classes. And what was the name of our chapter? The name of our chapter was, yes, what, where, how, and when. So we will today study about history subject. Chapter 1, what, where, how, and when. We will do a recapitulation. We will do some recapitulation, some revision of this chapter. And what we will revise today? Any guesses? What we will revise in this chapter? We will revise what we will do? We will revise keywords and important dates and events. So what we will do, students, today? Today we will recapitulate the keywords, meanings and definitions of keywords and important dates and the events which are there in this chapter 1 of history subject. So before going to that, students, tell me, what does this chapter name wants to tell us? What, where, how, and when? Do you know? What does it want to say? Let's recall. History is what happened. Yes, history is what happened. What happened in the past, way back when. So when it happened, any something when it happened. It is who made it happen. So it is history is who made it happen. The events, the incidents, all who made it happen. It is where we started. History is also where we started from. Who were our ancestors? Who were the early people, early human beings? History is why something happened. So history is also that why something happens, why it happened in the past, what was the reasons behind that, and how we can learn from it. And it also gave us some learnings from the past. When we know about our past, when we know why it happened, when we know what happened, when we know when it was happened, who did it, where it was started, and why it happened, then it also gave us some learning and we learn from our past. Yes, so now we will just start by this. We will just do a recapitulation of the chapter, and in the chapter recapitulation we will discuss about the keywords and important dates and events. So let's start. First keyword of this chapter is traveling. What do you mean by traveling? Yes, any student? Do you know what does traveling means? Yes, I know some of you would be knowing that what traveling means. Let us discuss. Traveling means to go from one place to another, as by car, train, planes, or ships, or take a trip. Yes, traveling means to go from one place to another by car, train, plane, ships, or take a trip. So you can see in this picture, a girl is traveling. She's going from one place to another by foot. Now the second keyword is manuscript. What do you mean by manuscript? We have already discussed this, but why I'm today discussing it, why we are today taking this topic, so that it could be recalled and you can learn it and you can write in the notebook and start learning the keywords. Now, what is manuscript, students? A book, document, or piece of music written by hand rather than typed or printed. So what is a manuscript? A book, document, or piece of music written by hand rather than typed or printed. This comes from the Latin word Manu. Latin is a language. So it is from this Latin language this word came, and Manu means hand. What is the meaning of Manu? Manu meaning is hand. These were usually written on palm leaves or on the specially prepared bark of a tree known as the birch, which grows in the Himalayas. Where were these manuscripts written? These manuscripts were written on the palm leaves or on the specially prepared bark of a tree known as birch. It was a bark of a tree known as birch. These trees were basically grown in the Himalayan region. Now you can see in this picture, this on the left hand side there is a picture of manuscript. So on a paper, on a bark or palm leaf, this handwritten script is there. So this is known as manuscript. And on the right hand side you can see a birch bark manuscript. So this is a bark of a tree which is known as birch, and this is found basically in the Himalayas. So from this bark they make a paper kind of thing, and then they started writing writing the scripts. Now we will take the third, inscriptions. What do you mean by inscriptions, students? Yes, anyone? Now you have already studied the chapter, so you would be knowing what is inscription. Let us recall. Inscription is a fancy word for writing, the act of writing or a small bit of writing. These are writings on relatively hard surfaces such as stone or metal. All inscriptions contain both scripts and languages. So in the inscription, there is script also and language also. And these inscriptions are basically written on the hard surfaces such as stone or metal. You can see the picture of inscription. This is a picture of inscription. It is a stone, a hard substance. On this, something is written on the stone, something is inscribed. So that there are some pictures and something written in other languages. So this is known as inscriptions. Now we will talk about another keyword, that is archaeology. What is archaeology, students? Do you know? Let's recall. Archaeology is the study of the past by looking for the remains and objects left by the people who lived long ago. So, what is archaeology? Archaeology is a study of the past by looking for the remains and objects left by the people who were living in the past, who were living long ago, who were living in the past. Whatever left was remain, that they study these archaeology, the people, the archaeologists study these things, and they come to know about the past. These remains can include old coins, tools, buildings, and inscriptions, right? So all the remains are there, and when they study about the remain, they study about the past, they come to know about the past. And who the people who study the past by looking for the remains and objects left by the people who lived long ago, what are they called, students? Yes, they are called archaeologists. What are they called? They are called archaeologists. You can see a girl, a lady is there. She is a archaeologist. She's doing something from the remains of the past, and then she will find something about the past, some past knowledge she will gain. So now we will come to our another keyword, that is historian. What is historian, students? Historians, that is scholars. So who are historians? Historians are scholars who study the past, often use the word source to refer to the information found from manuscripts, inscriptions, and archaeology. So who are historians? Historians are scholars. What they do, they study the past. But how they study the past? They study the past by using the word source, which refers to they take the information which is found by the manuscripts, inscriptions, and the archaeology, whatever information is being gathered from manuscripts, inscriptions, and archaeology. They keep it together, they make it as a source, and then they study about the past. Those people are known as historians. See, this is a picture which I took, that this is a historian, this man is a historian, and he is studying from the manuscripts. He is studying from the past manuscripts, and he will study about the past. Now we will take the sixth keyword, that is source. What is a source, students? A place, person, or thing from which something originates or can be obtained. So what is a source? A source is a place. A source can be a person or a thing from which something originates or can be obtained. Some information can be obtained. Something can be taken out. Some kind of information we can get. So that is a source. That is called as a source. In the study of history, a primary source, also called, sorry students, so in the study of history, a primary source, also called an original source, is a document, diary, manuscript, autobiography, recording, or any other source of information that was created at the time under study. It serves as an original source of information about the topic. So when we are studying history, we take any we when we find any information about the past, we take a primary source, and also called original source. And from where we get this source can be a document, this source can be a diary of the past which has been taken from anywhere. This can be manuscripts, autobiography of any person, recordings, or any other source of information that was created at the time under study. It serves as an original source of information about the topic. Now we will talk about another keyword, that is decipherment. What is decipherment, student? This is a very new word for all of us. Yes, decipherment. Let's study. Decipherment is the analysis of documents written in ancient languages where the language is unknown or knowledge of the language has been lost. So what is decipherment? Decipherment is the analysis. We analyze, the people analyze the document which is written in the ancient language. We don't know that language. It is written in the ancient language. So we analyze that document where the language is unknown, we don't know the language, or the knowledge of the language has been lost, or the knowledge of the language is being lost. We don't know what it is written on this document or on this inscription. Then we analyze that, we match it with the known language. What we do, then we match it with the known language, and we try to find out what is written on this, on the document or the inscriptions. Now you understood what is decipherment. Let us recall once again. Decipherment is the analysis of documents written in the ancient language where the language is unknown or knowledge of the language has been lost. Now students, we will study the what do dates mean in history. What do dates mean? If somebody asks you the date, you will probably mention the day, month, and year. Yes, 2000 and something, like 2020. Right now it's going on, right? So you will only mention the month, April or May, and you will mention the date only. These years are counted from the date generally assigned to the birth of Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity. So, from where these years came? So, these years are counted from the date when Jesus Christ born. There was a birth of Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity. So 2000 means 2000 years after the birth of Christ. Understood? So 2000, if we are in the year of 2020, it means that 2020 is the year after the birth of Jesus Christ. Understood? All dates before the birth of Christ are counted backward and usually have the letter BC. So all those dates which are being counted before the birth of Christ, when there was no Christ born, so before the birth of Christ, they all dates are counted backward. Usually those letter have written BC. We have seen very various times, yes, we have seen various times that so many dates like 200 BC, 300 BC is written. So there, those all are the dates which are before the Christ, which was there when there was no birth of Jesus Christ. This chapter refers to dates going back from the present using 2000 as our starting point. So in this chapter, the dates which are there are all taken going back from the present using 2000 as our starting point. Now, what does this BC stands for? Yes, we should also know what does different abbreviations mean. Like BC, BC we have seen stands for before Christ. You will sometimes find AD before dates. Yes, this stands for two Latin words and no domino, meaning in the year of world, in the year of the Lord Christ. So 2005 can be written as AD 2005. Sometimes CE is used instead of AD and BCE instead of BC. So sometimes what happened, we also write instead of CE we write AD, and instead of BCE before Christ we write before Christ. The letter CE stands for Common Era. What does CE stands for? Common Era. And BCE stands for Before Common Era. What does BCE stands for? BCE stands for Before Common Era. We use these terms because the Christian era is now used in most countries of the world. So why do now we started using CE and BCE? Because now in most of the countries of the world, these terms are being used, like Christian era, before Christian era, like, and so on. In India, we began using these forms of datings from about 200 years ago. So in India, we started using these forms of datings only about 200 years ago. And sometimes the letter BP, meaning before present, are also used. So sometimes in some dates we also use there is also written BP after the date. That means before present. Now, with the students, we will study about the important dates and events. Yes, we will study about the important dates and events which will happen which were studied in this chapter 1. So, what are the important dates? This important dates you have to write in a notebook. You have to write the keywords also in the notebook, and then start learning. Right. So, let's discuss about the important dates and events. So, in 8,000 years ago, what happened? 8,000 years ago, the beginning of agriculture was there. 4,700 years ago, the first city of Indus established. 2,500 years ago, cities in the Ganga Valley were established, and a big kingdom in Magad was formed. 2000 AD or CE. What does it mean? 2000 AD or CE? The present age. What is right now going on? The present age, right? So these are some important dates and events of this chapter. So you just write down them and just start learning. So students, in today's video we have discussed the keywords of this chapter, and we have also discussed the events. Yes, important dates and events of this chapter. So you have to write in the notebook and start learning the keywords and important dates. Dear parents, this video is for learning purpose only. We will also share the PDF of this slides PPT so that you can take a reference of this PDF, and then you can make your word, write all these keywords and important dates in the notebook, and then they can also start learning the keywords and important dates of this chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.